So you've decided to begin your YouTube channel, but you don't really know where to start or how to successfully grow. My name is Rachel, and I'm going to show you the step-by-step exact process that I'm taking to build my own YouTube channel and side hustle. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a unique process. And so if you've come here looking for the 5 quick steps to creating an amazing YouTube channel quick, this is probably not the video that will be for you. The reason that my process is going to be unique is because I am literally documenting from the ground up the journey that I'm taking to go from the bottom to, well, wherever YouTube channel is going to soar. Each week, I plan to bring to you what I've been doing along the process and hoping to help you grow along the way. This way you can see all my tips and tricks and mistakes, and I'm planning to answer all of the questions that I know that I have had so many times that I didn't really feel ever got answered. Seriously, if you're anything like me, you get excited or inspired by something that you see, someone that you aspire to be, but because they've already made it or because they're already at this level, it's hard to see where they came from. Let's face it, most of the most inspiring people on YouTube, let's say, because this is a platform that we're on, have done a lot of groundwork. They've done a lot of behind the scenes work that you don't get to see ever. If you're looking to create a YouTube channel and grow it, you might be asking yourself questions like, how do you create such amazing videos? And then you find the answer is probably, well, I hired somebody to do that. But when you're first starting out, you probably can't afford to hire a video editor. So then you ask the question, well, how did you afford a video editor? What did you do in order to afford to hire somebody else? And then the answer might be something like, I waited until I grew my channel to so many big. And then you're left with the next question is, well, how did you do that? Well, I created content. Well, how did you video? What did you use? What things did you buy? As a beginner, what do I really need? How much money do I need to spend? How much time do I need to spend? What are the exact steps that I need to go to get to that point? So a lot of times when we're watching videos, we see the end point where they've become more successful, but we don't get to see the beginning. And if you're anything like me, I like a lot of information and I like to understand how things work. After signing up and dropping off of a few side hustles, I realized that one of the number one reasons is because I just didn't have all of my questions answered. So I figured if I started from the ground up, I documented it and I answered questions that real people have in real time, then it's an exciting motivator for me. So here's how I started. Week 1, I already have created a YouTube channel. So I'm just going to assume that you've already done that. If you haven't, I don't have a video for that, although maybe I'll create one. But you can certainly find how to create your own YouTube channel if you're not sure. There are many step-by-step tutorials on YouTube that will help you do that. So the first thing that you need to do is pick a niche, niche, whichever way you say it. I like to say niche. It just sounds better in my ears, but please don't go on hating me for niche or niche, whichever way you want to say it. But niche is probably what you're going to hear me say most of the time. So right now in this video series, my niche would be people like you who want to start their YouTube channel, who really aren't quite sure what they should do week 1, 2, 3, 4 in order to grow their YouTube channel successfully. So my niche would be directed towards beginners of YouTube who want a step-by-step process to grow their YouTube channel to success. But my ultimate niche is actually not that. So as I'm doing this process, I'm going to focus on my ultimate niche, but in the process, I'm going to have kind of a sub niche. So most of you aren't going to be in that same situation, but that's just how it is for this particular video series. So if you're wondering what my ultimate niche is, it would be empowering women to overcome self-doubt or fear and to inspire and motivate them to create positive changes in their life. When you pick a niche, you want to pick something that you're interested in, that you are really good at, some things that you know about, or even what you have access to. So, for example, if you are a teacher who loves creating resources, then your niche will focus around that because you're going to be creating resources for your audience and inspiring them along the way. If you love cooking food, then your niche might be about around meal planning. Maybe it might be about the best foods in San Diego. So if you're a foodie, your niche is going to revolve around food or meal planning. If you are a hiker, then that will be your niche. If you really don't know what your niche is, you can think about what you have access to. For example, I'm from Canada. I live in Nova Scotia. So there are a lot of places in Nova Scotia that are actually tourist attractions and people come a long way to go see. But living in Nova Scotia all my life, it might not really seem like a big deal to me or other Nova Scotians. But for people who want to come visit, they're looking for that kind of information. They're looking for those kinds of videos. So if you're not sure of a niche, think about who might be interested in something that you have to offer. So using my example, maybe my niche is travelers coming to Nova Scotia. I might talk about sightseeing, I might talk about places to stay, I might talk about the best activities, the best indoor activities to do, the best outdoor activities to do, what time of year to come. So even though those are all things that I already know and maybe I'm not super interested in, I can create things for my audience that will excite them because that's the information that they're looking for. So if you're not really quite sure what hobbies or interests you have or can bring to the table, think about the audience and what you have access to. Speaking of audience, that is the next thing that I worked on this week. So sometimes when people want to grow on YouTube, they want to try to figure out the algorithm. They want to try to figure out how they can get the most views. Of course, that's all well and good, but even YouTube themselves say, don't worry about the algorithm. Don't become a master on the algorithm, become a master on your audience. A lot of times when people aren't sure of what they want as a niche, they just want to have a lifestyle niche. And when they're not really sure about their audience, they want everybody to be their audience. But here's the problem with wanting to have everybody as an audience or not narrowing down on a specific niche. You really have to think about the people coming to you. You want your audience to have a unique experience with you. You want them to come to you for a particular reason or topic. There's something about you that they want to keep coming back for. Let's imagine you are creating a video as a teacher and you are inspiring other teachers to do this, this, and this, and you're creating resources for them. Then you post a video of the top 10 things you need on a day hike. And then you post a video about the best restaurants in San Diego. When your audience comes back to you, they have no idea what you're going to post next. And that's a really good way of not building an audience. So although as you build an audience and they get to know you, you might sprinkle in different things here and there, it's most important for you to be able to have a niche and a specific audience who's going to want to come to you. I don't know if you've heard of the saying, when you try to please everyone, you please no one. It's the same thing when you're trying to build your audience. A lot of times people think, well, if I could just have everybody as my audience, think about how many followers I could have. But that's not the way that it works because we all have different interests. So the things that I love may be the things that you would never take interest in. So as a creator, you want to make sure that when you're posting, you have a niche and then you have a specific audience that wants to keep coming back to you because they have an idea or they know what they're going to get when they click on your videos. Based on my niche, I know that my audience is going to, in this series, they're going to want to have their questions answered about the step-by-step process to growing a successful YouTube channel. And they're going to want to see a variety of topics, which brings me to content pillars. I want to talk to you about the things that I did in week 1, which is currently now, how much time I spent doing what I did, and where I'm going to need to go next. This week, I picked a niche, I chose my audience, then I worked on content pillars, which I'm still working on. I spent about 6 hours working this week. I wanted to spend more doing that, but I do have another job. So 6 hours is how much I spent in week 1. I really do believe that the amount of time that you should probably be spending is anywhere from 5 to 10 hours a week. But it's hard to say how fast you can grow when we all come to the table with different skills or a different skill set. So if you're trying to start out, 5 to 10 hours a week probably is what is going to work the best, but I'll let you know how much time I spend and what I spend my time working on. Content pillars. I am still trying to become familiar with content pillars, but I'll give you a couple of examples of what I've been learning over this past week. Content pillars are kind of branches of your main topic that you kind of want to filter through as you create your content. Let's imagine that your topic or your target audience is single moms. Now, you might want to have a pillar where it's educational. Maybe you'll have a pillar where there's some entertainment, and maybe you'll have a pillar where there's inspirational. So you're going to kind of rotate through those things, through those pillars, creating content within those pillars, but still for single moms. So single moms might want parenting advice. Single moms might want meal prep ideas, especially for littles who don't like to eat anything. Single moms are probably going to want to have some budgeting advice or money saving ideas. So when you rotate through those pillars, it gives single moms different content, but under the same umbrella. So it's the same thing no matter what your niche is or who your audience is. You're going to want to have these pillars, and then you're going to want to try to rotate through those pillars to keep things fresh. I'm still working on that, and I was hoping to kind of have a plan for that by the end of week 1, but I don't. So I'm okay with extending my first week into creating some solid pillars. And the reason I say this is because there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background that we don't always see on YouTube channels that have a lot of followers because they've already done all of that. If you're willing to do the slow game, I think you'll find that your channel will grow once you get started. Although I do plan to still spend some more time next week on trying to really hash out the pillars of this particular audience or of this particular video series for the step-by-step process of how to create and grow your YouTube channel. I've come up with a couple already. I'm guessing that educational walkthroughs will be something that might make sense to have as a pillar. I'm guessing that tools will be one of those content pillars because I know I always wanted to know, what should I be buying? What can I use for free? How do I get things in the right order that I'm supposed to be buying them or using them? So that would be a second pillar. And then also I think one of the pillars should be inspirational. So sometimes when you're trying to create some momentum in a business, or in this case creating a YouTube channel, there are going to be lots of times where you hit a wall and you just need that inspiration. You need to know that someone else is out there hitting that same wall and what they did so that you can maybe do the same thing and not give up. So those are for sure 3 of the pillars, but I also really need to kind of figure out how I'm going to create the content within those pillars. So again, I think that I need to spend an extra week. I really want to dive into this, and I am excited to be able to start creating videos to be putting out. But I think that in the end, instead of making all of these mistakes and getting frustrated, I think that the more I build before I create, the better it's going to be for not only me, but for my audience, who is probably going to have a lot of questions along the way too. If you're really not sure what you want to do for a niche, I challenge you to do the following. Ask the people closest to you in your life this question: if you could come to me for advice on any one thing, what would you want to come to me for advice on? When I came across this question from another content creator, I decided that I was going to ask the same question. And the answers that I got back were parenting tips, motivational speaking, relationship issues, any problem that I might have, you would be the one I would want to come ask questions to. And finally, the proper way to word something to make it sound good. And so, although this series is all about creating your YouTube channel to success, what I really eventually want to focus on is empowering women to be really great people. And so, what was exciting when I asked that question and I got all of those answers, it just reaffirmed to me that people see in me what I'm excited to share with them. But sometimes we don't see that in ourselves. So, there might be something that you're really good at that you don't even really think twice about, but other people come to you for advice for. So I've got friends that I go to for techie issues. If I've got some if I've got some tech problem, I know exactly who I'm going to. If I have some car issue, I know exactly who I'm going to. If I have some problems going on in my house, I know exactly who I'm going to. If I want to read a really good up and coming book, I know exactly who I'm going to. So those people, because they just do things so naturally, they might not even realize how great they are at it, or that other people might want to seek advice from them. So go ahead and ask people that question, and you might be surprised at some of the answers that you get back, but it also might really help you decide what your niche is going to be. Now, I don't know if you've heard about branding before, but once you create a niche and you have an audience and you've got your pillars and you have a plan, at some point it's going to be important for you to create your brand. And I never really liked hearing that because I didn't know what that even really meant. And although we may talk about that, and although at this point in the game, it's not going to make or break you, I thought that I would share with you something that I did this week to help me build my brand. So your brand is kind of what you're going to be known for. So sometimes, when you're listening to something on the radio, you hear it and you go, "Oh, I know that's McDonald's. That's McDonald's jingle." Or I know that slogan is whoever's slogan. So whether it's a jingle that you're hearing on the radio that identifies a brand, or whether it is the Nike swoosh that we all know, or whether it is a certain slogan that identifies a brand. When we look at those things and we know exactly what it stands for, that is a built brand. And so when you're creating your channel, you want to be able to build your brand. And whether it's going to be a slogan or whether it's going to be a logo, that's not the most important thing at this moment. But having an idea of what you want to be known for, what you want people to come to you for, is going to help you build your brand. And eventually, you're going to want to have brand colors. Okay, so together, I'm going to try to screen share with you. I don't think I told you that I'm videoing on Zoom. A lot of people will video on their phones. My phone doesn't have very much storage and I get frustrated with it. So right now I am videoing on Zoom because it is free and it has the record feature and it's only me on here. Even though I'm sure the quality isn't as best as it could be, it's free. Now, I've never done this before, but I'm going to try to share my screen with you to show you how I decided on, or how I am planning to decide on what brand colors I eventually want to use. So if I can screen share with you, oh no, I don't know how to screen share. Okay, no, I figured it out. All right, so at the bottom here, multiple participants, no, only one participant can share at a time. Okay, that's fine. But how do I share my screen? Maybe I'm sharing it right now as I record. I wish I knew. Okay, I have never tried to screen share on Zoom before. I've only used Zoom a few times. So I'm not sure if what I'm about to do is even going to work. So we're going to try, we're going to go for it. And if in the end, when I look back at this recording, it doesn't work, I'll try to figure out another plan. So if my video cuts at this point and it's not a nice little segue, my apologies, but here it is. These are the mistakes that we make when we're trying to learn along the way. All right, so I'm going to, wondering if I hit the escape button. Oh, I really wish I knew if you could see this as a recording. Okay, maybe, maybe what I'll do, because I mean, this is real-time stuff. Um, how to share, oops, your screen on Zoom. And maybe I should say, if you're recording, I don't know. Let's try it. Record gallery view and shared screen for a Zoom meeting. Oh, I've got a YouTube video that's going to tell me.
Tool. So you can just go up here and start a new meeting
I did
and
that.
then choose your audio if you're going to use audio.
Got that done.
And then if you want to use a video, you can choose that as well.
Mm.
And then right here in the middle, it says share screen. Click on that. And then you can choose either your desktop or a whiteboard or your iPhone via AirPlay, your iPad or iPhone
No,
via.
you're not helping me. Maybe I'll try advanced. You can share. That's fine. You could start sharing someone else's. Oh my gosh, I wish I could figure this out. All right, I have no idea what I'm doing. All right, next week it looks like I'm probably going to have to spend some time figuring out how to be able to show my screen at the same time. What I'm going to do is head over to my Pinterest. I'm going to show you probably here if I can get a picture of it. I'm going to show you what it looks like, but I want to tell you exactly what I did just so that if you want to do this to help you build your brand, that or help you give you ideas for your brand colors, that this might be something that that is interesting for you. So I went over to Pinterest and I created a Pinterest account only for the purpose of this brand inspiration. So I created a board called Brand Inspiration, and then I went looking for pictures. And so in my search, I'm going to tell you the exact things because I've got them written down here. So I created a Pinterest board and I titled it Brand Inspiration. And then I went to the search and I searched up the word fashion and I scrolled through, scrolled, and I picked 3 to 5 pictures that just spoke to me. Then I typed in travel and I clicked on 3 to 5 items that spoke to me. And then I went through the rest of the process. So I typed in travel, I typed in textures, I typed in decor, I typed in quotes, and I typed in fashion. Of course, you can type in anything that you want, but those topics really helped me recognize after I finished my board. It has 41 items on it right now. After I finished my board and I scrolled through, I realized that I like those minimalistic colors Not that I didn't already know the colors that I like, but it was interesting to see the board once it was put together. Every once in a while, a little spark of bright color would come out, but most of the colors that really spoke to me were clean, fresh neutrals with a little dabble of pink, purple, and blue. So when you go ahead and do this, it will give you an idea of the things that you or the things that attract your eye. And I'm hopeful, I hope for sure that this helps you kind of get an idea for when you're ready to create your actual brand colors, what you are most inspired by. Now, looking forward to week 2, I plan to kind of flesh out that content, the pillar content pillar, pillar content a little bit better so that I really know what I want to focus on for my content rotation. But I'm also going to do week 2 studying my competitors because the best way to know what's working for your audience is to see what other people who are doing really great things are doing. And so we're going to talk about what that is going to look like. I'll let you know how much time I spend, what I'm going to focus on. And if you have any questions, I would love, love, love for you to ask me them because this is going to help me make the mistakes, be able to answer them, give me something to research so that I know what you're looking for to bring to the table. I can't wait for you to join me for week 2, pillar content rotation and checking out our competitors. And of course, asking and answering any silly questions that are never really silly, but we all have and sometimes can't find the answers to. So if you have any questions, let me know. And until next time, have fun choosing your niche and creating your audience.